properly understood, Bhagavad Gita is the best psychotherapist, actually, because no, I don't know, we are not psychologists or psychiatrists, but the way the mind is understood, the people are described, personalities are described. If you understand everything very clearly, you feel that you can observe the same changes or validate whatever is given in Bhagavad Gita very beautifully. You just have to keep observing people, observe yourself, observe your thoughts. Then whatever Krishna says, no, how we behave, how our mind reacts at different stages, different states, not stages, states. Sometimes we are so kind, so compassionate, so good. Sometimes we are so low, angry, reactive. And yet other times we are in between. Likewise, people are also like that. So, in this chapter, Krishna has described three types of belief systems a person can have, because it is in response to a question which Arjuna asks. What if people don't read Shastras? They don't read scriptures. Ideally, scriptures are treasures, actually. Lot of things are given in scriptures. But we must not blindly also follow the scriptures. That also the commentator, particularly Swami Ranganathanandaji, says, because the scriptures, if they are amended, because they are applicable to different yugas, different time zones, different categories of people, I mean, different age, era, actually. So if it is not applicable now, and if you find it's quite an absurd thing, don't follow, he says. That is smritis. Shrutis like Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and all, these are eternal truths. I mean, they don't condemn the smritis or Puranas or Itihasa, no. But certain things which happened, let's say Draupadi was with five husbands, that in our religion, our uh, system does not permit in today's world. So we may not take that. We may not justify that that was correct. And those are sporadically they have happened. It was not a norm, but it happened somewhere, and it was uh, normalized. It was normalized, but that cannot be normalized here. And that happened in particular situation with certain people of one stature. So, like that, Smritis give certain things, Shrutis give certain things. Bhagavad Gita can be a simple guide for most of us, but Arjuna asks, in spite of that, what if people don't have an access to these scriptures? So, what do they guidelines? We call them. Recently, I was telling in Hassan Medical College, same thing. Guidelines are to be followed. That is dharma. Guidelines is our dharma. It will tell you how to follow dharma. Dharma is a way of life, rightful way of life, righteous way of life. So, Gita guides you. But what if people do certain good things, but they don't have an access, or they are not conditioned, they are not exposed, they don't have that culture, somehow they have not been able to follow the scripture. So what, can they not perform their duties and pujas with great shraddha? Then Krishna comes to very cleverly, he says, what type of shraddha are you talking about, Arjuna? There are three types of people. That shraddha means the belief system. He brings it to that mindset. They believe it, there are three categories of people: Shraddha, Traya, Vibhaga, Yoga. Again, same thing: Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, Shraddha. That Shraddha determines how they worship, what company they keep, who they interact with, how they interpret the same thing, depending on their Shraddha, depending on their belief systems, which has been evolved over several births, plus their genetic, environmental, and external influences. All that would have acted on their mind. And they firmly, belief system means which they believe with conviction, that's called. Conviction means this is my principle. So that is what they believe in. And their personalities are defined by their belief systems. That is the whole gist of this whole chapter. So we have seen how different people worship, with what attitude they worship, what they expect from their worship, what kind of people they interact with, and what type of food they prefer, and what type of tapascharya they do. Tapas, what is their attitude when they do tapas? And in Sattvic tapas also we saw, he categorized them as tapas of actions, tapas of speech, tapas of the mind. Very beautifully, he says, even if you have sattvika shraddha, it has to be demonstrated, or it will be he encourages in an indirect way to follow, to develop that sattvic shraddha with our effort. So everything goes as per the gunas, but there is a small free will choice. That choice, we must be always alert and open. And if there is something which can guide us towards higher, if we are aware of that, then we keep choosing the higher things. And that's how Sattvic Shraddha develops. And Sattvic Shraddha is defined by good conduct, good behavior, good actions, good speech. They speak truth, they speak pleasantly, they interact well, and their mind is always happy, always pleasant. They don't go into anxiety mode, restlessness, depression. On the other hand, they are so pleasant, cheerful, and because they are wise. For them, everything is going in its own accord. I must work to the best of my ability, and beyond that, nothing is in my hands. And whatever is happening in my life is a great learning. So I keep learning and I enjoy every moment of it. So that is how a person takes, he is calm, peaceful, cheerful, a Sattvika Shraddha person. The other two, Tamasic and Rajasic, are anxious, restless, always expecting something. And the austerity that a Tamasic person does is he troubles himself, his body, and also others. His tapas is of that kind. While a Rajasic person performs any tapas, tapas means something which you resolve and act, resolution, and you act. But that attitude for that and the expectations from that action, which requires a lot of physical and mental effort, all the three categories perform this kind of tapas. But the attitude is different, expectations are different. A Rajasic person performs great tapas, but for selfish reasons. Tamasic person also performs for selfish, but he also out of foolish notions and for self torture, and sometimes it is with an intention of ruining others. So, this much we have covered. Now, today we shall talk about, we have talked about in the Shraddha, Yajna, Dana, Tapas, Puja, Ahara. So, Dana we are going to discuss. Yajna we discussed, Ahara we discussed, Tapas we discussed. Now we are going to discuss about what are the different types of dana, how each personality does charity. So this charity is something which has to be done as per the scriptures, because it is just like a puja, they say, and all religions recommend this. Of course, any religion is always for the betterment. If you have time, listen to lectures by Acharya Prashant. I always like his rational approach, Acharya Prashant. So any in his talk is any dharma, any religion, any caste is community. Uh, is always for betterment of the humanity only. Only down the line it gets misinterpreted. So charity or donation or sharing is prescribed by all the religions. You speak of any religion, it recommends how it should be done. Krishna says today, Datavyam iti yat danam diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha taddanam satvikam sprutam. So what is Satvika Dana? Satvika Dana, a Satvik person, how does he think of donation or sharing? So he says, Datavyam iti. He says, one has to give. There is no question of choice. Dana must be done. What are you speaking? It is like eating, sleeping, performing some action. You are taking care of children. Like that, you have to give. Datavyam. You have to. Iti. Yad dana diyate. Considering that it is his prime responsibility, a sattvic person gives charity. And diyate anupakarine, without any expectations in return. Without any expectation in return. Gift given with this idea, and knowing very well he may or he may not return. It is not a loan. There's no expectation. Absolutely not. Even a smile or shake hand or felicitation, nothing. Absolutely nothing. I just have to give. That is my dharma. That is my duty. And there's a right way of living. That's what he thinks. And deshe kalecha patrecha. That means he will give this dana. He also follows certain procedures that it should be given in a particular place, good place, at the right time, to the deserving person. Patre means those who deserve that dana. We'll see what it is. This is called Sattvika Danam, Satvikam Smritam. This is said to be Sattvik. So, what are the conditions of Sattvika Dana? The person has an attitude that he's not forced. Willingly he gives. He believes that it is a right way. He believes that it helps me in evolution. This is what it is, not blindly following the scriptures. He has a firm faith in the act of donating or charity or sharing. Dana means that. And he will never expect anything in return. And he will give it at the right place, at the right time, to the right person. This is called as Sattvika Dana. So, sharing is when it's not, we give what we have in excess. We have excess, we give. For example, you clear the clutter and we give some clothes. No, I don't need this anymore. Anta kottu bidteve. That is not dana. Dana is sharing what you have. What you have only you have to give. In that only you have to share. It is not what is in excess or what you don't need. No, that is not called as dana. That is one thing. And when you see that somebody is not having which I have, clothing, for example, many times we get this on WhatsApp also. I don't know whether these websites or these portals are authentic. Some are authentic, like Milap and all. They ask for some woolen blankets in Mathura. There are old age homes. People are shivering. There is no some people, and so there are many people even in US. You see what is they're homeless people. They sleep on the platform, footpaths. Homeless people. We can give some clothing or food. So you, the minute we see that they need something and I can afford it, we give it spontaneously. That is Sattvic Dana, spontaneously. And we don't even want anything in return, isn't it? Why will we ask when we see them shivering? Maybe many people, many are there like that, many Sattvic people. See, Dana is something which, you know, uh, which is not, it is very secular action. That is one thing which younger generation also feels good. Actually, feels good to donate. When we ask them to chant or something, they may not, but they always like this act of donation, because that is something which appeals to so many people. Actually, they say in it seems in Satyuga, everything was there. Satya was there, Daya was there. That was called dharma. Well, Satya, Daya, and Dana was there. Gradually, it started reducing with the Treta Yuga and with the Dwapara Yuga. And when it came to Kali Yuga, everything has gone. Dana is there, and Dana alone can release a person. That is what some commentators have told. Dana alone can release a person. There are so many types of Dana. What are the two? In Manusmriti, it describes, you may believe or not. Apart from that, there are so many. Because he says these are some of the danas. So I will just tell you very interesting article I got today on types of dana. So one is artha dan, that is you donate wealth, isn't it? Wealth many people give, no? They recurring every month there is deduction or something. Artha dan. Then we have bhumi dan. Bhumi dana is giving land. So people who have, of course, it's not that people will donate whatever. Even if I don't have a shelter, I will give. Nobody will do. They should not do also. That also is one of the recommendations by the scriptures. They don't say that you suffer and give. No, you share it. You also enjoy, let them also enjoy. Bhumi Dana, second one, donation of the land. Then Annadana. Annadana, considered as highest form of charity. Actually, Annadana, many people, they go to orphanages, or they just call. See, calling people who have lot of, people who are well off, and then you give Annadana, that also is good. But giving Annadana to people who don't have food, that is something very, very, sattvic. And then Aushadhi Dana, this is given in Manusmriti. Aushadhi Dana is giving donation of medicines and healthcare camps. We do know free health checkups, free medicines we give. That is called as Aushadhi Dana. And then Vastra Dana, donation of clothes. COVID observed a lot of people coming together to give, particularly Vastra Dana. Pranadhan, sparing a life, particularly as doctors and healthcare professionals, we have done that. Means taking highest form of compassion. It need not be only doctors. Somebody has fallen. Yesterday I saw they have feliced in Mangalore, I think, near Mangalore. One auto rickshaw came and it toppled over another lady. One school girl came running, and she's young, 8th or 9th standard. She put her efforts to lift that. She was the first one to run and lift that auto. Of course, she could not, but partially she did. Somebody else helped. Everybody came and then they lifted. But she was the first girl to, run, and she saved a life. So, like that, we see many awards being given, no, for such acts of bravery. So, Pranadana. Pranadana is helping them to save lives. Even organ donations come under Pranadana, isn't it? Organ donations, body donation, all that comes under. We are saving somebody's life. Then Yashodana, donation of credit and recognition. I was surprised to see this, where one allows another person to get the recognition instead of claiming it for oneself. If I get some accolade, I get an award, right? Any award I get. And if I find that somebody, my colleague, is more deserving, I donate. That means I feel that he or she is more deserving than him and than me, and therefore I donate. I give up that recognition. Very beautiful. Yashodan, Yasha is fame. So you donate don't give the credit to them. So at least we must learn. Today's world, we are all of us are educated, the viewers also. We must learn to acknowledge. Acknowledgement is important. That's why other extreme of plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying and copycut, copy paste, and cheating. All that, stealing somebody's ideas. That is other extreme. But here, a person has done enough effort, but suddenly he feels that he is more deserving. So this much of all this. And adhikara dana. Adhikara dana is renouncing one's entitlements. Like you that is your right. Let's say that's your right. But someone else comes and wants to claim, or somebody else is also there, and there is a conflict between the two. Then suddenly one person may say, "Let him take it. I don't want him." Very beautiful. I was listening to Ramayana by Bananja Govindacharya. So, Sumitra in Ramayana, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi, Sumitra. Kaushalya's son is Ram, and Kaikeyi is Ram, and Kaikeyi is Bharat. Lakshman, Shatrughna are Sumitra's sons. But very clearly, it seems Valmiki Ramayana says Kaushalya and Kaikeyi always used to have conflicts and other things. Sumitra was a very balanced wife, it seems. And Sumitra, when I read this, and just previous day I was listening to Ramayana, she was the first one to come and declare, I don't want Pattabhisheka for my sons. Let these two take. Yar ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ತರ ಅಂತ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದಾನ. So that is called adhikara dana. I don't want. And sometimes some people will sacrifice their positions also, and say head of the department, head of the institution. Maybe somebody else comes, you are given. But due to some reasons, I mean, for the betterment of the system, I'm saying. Then Jnanadana, donation of knowledge. Bhakti Dana, encouraging devotion in others. You can ask them to chant Gita, motivating others, spreading the knowledge. That is Bhakti Dana. Jnana Dana is knowledge. We all have been teachers. That is the best type of Jnana. So, how it can be converted into Dana, whatever we are doing is, we are employed by the organization or institution to deliver lectures, to take classes, to train the students and all that. But if we go beyond that, because I will tell you, because I have heard very clearly that when you go one extra, like how Kavita was discussing, how well we prepare, all of us is right. We all put so much effort. We go to do so many references. We prepare and we go and take lectures. It's not that uh, I'm doing this because I get salary. Somebody told me about 15 years ago. Every month the salary gets credited, the passbook it shows the that's enough. Why are you working beyond that? ಇಷ್ಟು ಬರುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಒಂದ್ ರೂಪಾಯಿನೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಅದು it became a joke actually. I'm telling you from the reality. Some people used to discuss in my I mean familiar people only, my known people. I will not take their names. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ₹1 ನಾನು ₹1 8 ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಯಾರೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಮಿ ₹1 ಐ ವರ್ಕ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ 25 ಅನಾಸ್ 25 ಪೈಸೆ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ 4 ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೆಲಸ. Anas means those days that was a measure of money. That means 1/4 I work. You give me 100%, I'll give you 25%. Somebody is saying, give me 100, I'll give 50%. Somebody says, I'll do 100%. Whatever they give, I will not beyond that. So hinge ಲೆಕ್ಕಾಚಾರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ದಾನ ಅಲ್ಲ. That doesn't become, just because we are in that profession, it doesn't become a satvika dana. Attitude with which we give, these are all types of dana. But then the attitude with which you give, that defines sattvic, rajasic or tamasic. So these are types, okay? I am not telling all these are dana. These are all the types of dana. Then gift of contentment, teaching the virtue of contentment, spreading the positivity. So you become contented, tell others also. Mantra dana, teaching others spiritual mantras. Diksha dana, spiritual initiation. Gurus give this, spiritual dana. Putra dana, they give their sons for the welfare. RSS andre, Deshakage andre. Why army? Army is putra dana only, no? It is not mentioned here, but it is putra dana. You are giving your children for the welfare of the society. He may die. Look at the greatness of the mother, greatness of the family, greatness of the wife. They know that that person can die at any moment. Still they are donating. Putra dana, kanya dana. When we donate, when we give the daughters in marriage, that is called kanya dana. And yeah, so kanya dana admele bhakti dana, ತೃಪ್ತಿ ದಾನ, ಮಂತ್ರದಾನ, ದೀಕ್ಷಾದಾನ, ಪುತ್ರದಾನ, ಕನ್ಯಾದಾನ, ದಾತವ್ಯ ಮುಕ್ತಿದಾನ, ಲಿಬರೇಷನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಡೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅಂತೆ. Wavering of debts. Supposing somebody has taken money from you and you find that he is not able to repay that loan, waiver it. That is called datavya muktidana. Then satkara dana, donation of respect and hospitality, showing respect to all regardless of social status. Asana dana, giving up the seat when they come closer. Priya dana, giving what you had cherished so much. Andre, you supposing you had a very nice silk saree which you adored and you had kept it for so many years, and somebody says, I like this, just give it off. You like it, take it, which you adored for so many days. Now you will just give it off to the person who said, I like it, or who needs it, something like that. Shreya dana, that means Shreya dana, offering ultimate benefit, providing things that brings spiritual benefits, such as donating Gita, Bhagavad Gita to others. Many people do that, And Sukha dana, giving comfort and happiness, bringing joy, give them happiness. That is beyond the basic comfort, Like supposing you give your maid some 500 rupees or 100 rupees, go and eat pani puri, and that becomes Sukha dana. You want them also to enjoy the luxuries which you are enjoying. So let them also enjoy. And Brahma dana, giving supreme knowledge, highest form leading to self-realization, similar to spiritual dana. Paramadana, that means, this is very interesting, to be present with the dying person, Paramadana, and chant prayers so that he remembers God and you are helping him. Because we know, no, if a person remembers God in his last days, then he goes to another abode, to God's realm. So if you are there around, you chant Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama, or Kirtan, so that the departing soul reaches a higher realm. This is something very at the time of death. Some people do that. They're all there, and very few people are lucky. At the time of their death, there are people chanting. But we have heard that. Sattvika Dana, and then he talks about Sattvika Dana is purest form, performed selflessly. This is given Manusmriti. Gita talks about Dana itself in three categories: Sattvik, Rajasic, Tamasic. Now, these are types. And Krishna says these are three mindset. So, any of these Dana, no, if it is done with these conditions which he says that it has to be done, any of them, we will not be able to do all of them, any of them, or two, three of them, four of them, whatever. It has to be done, and without any expectation, at the right place, time, and to the deserving person, any of these dana, then only it becomes sattvic dana. Krishna's category of dana is based on the attitude. His category is attitude, the mindset. A type is different, but what is your mindset? In Kurti Ahogi, you will give your sari to somebody. The next time you will go and ask them, or you give your maid, I told you pani puri. Next time she applies leave and you say, I gave you pani puri, still you are remaining, you are going on leave. Andre, that doesn't qualify sattvic dan. No expectation. Kotmel mugitu. You should, that is the attitude of what I should say, sattvic dana means it should qualify. Many times, no, in olden days, there used to be olden days till recently, I think. Wedding, they used to go and last generation. Many of you would have seen that. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಊರ್ ಕಡೆ ಅಂತೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. When you go and attend a wedding, no, they will remember what gifts they have given. Some people write it down. And when they come back, when their family weddings happen, they will remember how much they have given. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೊಡೋದು ಆಹೆರ್. Or how much you have received, you give that only. This was kind of attitude in some families. I have observed that. So return gifts are also based on what you have received. So this deal is not sattvic. How much they give, I will give. And how much now ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಂದು. Nowadays it's not there. This used to happen several years ago. Years, 50 years back, I think, when I was small. ಸೊ ನಾವ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ವಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ರು, ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಗೆ ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಗಿಫ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಬಂದ್ವಿ, ಅವ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಇದು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್, ಇಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ come under the category of dana at all. This is exchange of some material and maybe barter system only. ಅದೇ ತರ ನಾವೊಂದು ಕೊಡೋದು ಅವರದ್ದು ಕೊಡೋದು ಆ ತರ. So that doesn't come under dana. So one beautiful story I read in one of the blogs. One king had conducted a great yajna. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ it is given in scripture only. Stories from Upanishads are scriptures only, but makes a lot of sense. So there is one lady, there are so many people who attended that sacrifice, nice, good puja, homas and all they do, olden days. And the king has invited everybody and he says, whatever best you can, you contribute for that, so that we all share the benefits of this yajna. So wealthy people, saints will come, poor people attend, everybody, whatever they feel they'll, and king will not insist what they have to bring. Once they are done with the whole ceremony, they are on their way back. And those days there were no, they used to go in group, in they would not separate because of the fear of the wild animals and all that. And it started, the sky became very cloudy, and it was observed that one set of clouds always protected them. It was drizzling, but wherever they walked, no, it wouldn't. That there was one cloud which always protected this group of people who were going. And this saint, there was a saint in that group, it seemed. He observed how come when they stopped on the way to rest, the cloud also stops. Again they move. This is a story, but believable. And nature was supporting them. Elsewhere it was raining, but here it was raining means drizzling. But these people were not getting wet because that cloud did not rain, it did not burst. So they were going and it stopped. And then the saint said, there is some lot of good things that have happened in this group. So let us see what happened. So they were all moving. And he started checking. There was a wealthy person. So the cloud is moving, people are moving. So now he says, let the wealthy person move out and others will go. Let's see what happens to the cloud. Wealthy person moves, others go, the cloud moves. So that means he is not responsible. The saint is linking this protection to good acts done by somebody or group of these people. So the wealthy person not responsible. Then saint says, maybe let me move. I have done so much of punya, I will move out. So he moved, nothing happened. Still, the cloud was protecting them. It moved with the crowd. Then there's somebody in this crowd who has done such good act that the cloud is blessing. It is because of that. Then he went on asking everybody, and this experiment was done with each and every person. Then there was one old lady who was very poor, who was wearing not so good clothes, torn clothes also. When she stopped, when she moved, others, everybody came out. One by one, he started observing with every person. So nobody was responsible for this phenomenon except one old lady. When she moved, the cloud moved. When she stopped, the cloud stopped. Then the saint stopped everybody and then he asked her, what is such a good? What are you doing? What is this? Then she says, nothing. What am I doing? I'm not doing anything. It is just that I don't have anything. I have whatever little I have. I share it with the people around or the animals. That means every day I earn something, some do roti. In that do roti, only one I can eat. Another one I will give it to the dogs. And whatever I earn in that, I will keep only that which I need for my day to day money, whatever money I get. The rest I give it off to people. She said, she's a very poor lady. She herself doesn't have, enough to, enough means she's not so luxurious. She's comfortable. So she says, this much is enough. She's not wearing that, this thing expensive, Okay. But here and there were stitches. And in spite of that, she says, there are others who need much more than this. So I donate. So then the saint says that this is how dana should be done. That means everybody would have done dana. They have taken their groceries, they have taken money and given it to that yajna which was performed by king. But that did not qualify so much of punya as much as this old lady contributed. So that means the attitude with which you do dana should be so very clear, so deep, so truthful, so sacrificial in nature, without getting affected, that it would result in this much of punya. See, her energy, her quantum energy, what we say, the punya means quantum energy, was so profound that the nature also used to cooperated with her. So this is the power of dana, and not only dana, power of the mindset with which we give donations. So Buddha also used to tell, it seems, let people, and I remember Anand sir also used to tell, his guru also used to tell, dete jao, dete jao, dete jao. Because when we do dana, our ego comes down. In Kali Yuga, they says dana and japa, these are the two easy ways of getting your karma cleansed. Dana and karma. And Brahaspati, and yoga, Brahaspati Smriti, I think. It says 10%. It says 10% of your income should go for dana. And one more is Brahaspati Niti, it is called. Brahaspati Niti says 10%. Shukra Niti says 25% of your income should be donated, of whatever. I also know my close friend, I had told you, I think she's a Christian, and she gets 45 to 50,000 of pension per month. So she keeps around 10 to 15,000, and she had property which she has given. She was a nurse, she was an admin in a healthcare hospital. Now she's retired. So 15 to 15,000, she says that's more than enough. Remaining, she donates to orphanages and some old age homes. The children keep complaining or grumbling. She says nothing doing. So you imagine how much it will be. 35, she keeps her, only 25 to 30% she's keeping for herself, because she says that's enough. I have a own house and children are there, and she spends for children, grandchildren. Remaining is donation. So danam is very, very essential, and very, I mean, clearly he says that it should be given without any expectations, and look at proper time. Desha kale patre. So supposing there is pandemic or disasters, that becomes a right time, isn't it? When else, which is the other right time for us to donate? Kale means that only. When there is a time, you should give. When there is emergency, we should give. Flood is there, we all give. I'm sure we will all give. But that should come naturally for many people. They should not hesitate to give. So that is done. But having said that, I must say, everybody is not keen to give. So-called educated people, so-called cultured people, so-called civilized people, not all would be keen. And many people want to give, but it is there in the mind. It doesn't come in action. So this reminds us actually that we should make it a habit, make it a point to remind ourselves regularly we should give, and whenever possible we should. Illi ಒಂದು BBMP ಒಂದು shelf ಇದೆ. Everybody comes and you just keep the things there and you go. You whatever old stuff you have, no, not naturally that is also not bad. We give it and they will use it. Somebody who can use it's good for them. Ali hangila, nobody takes. You just keep it, throw there and come. Whoever wants it will take. So somebody said, I donate it to BBMP. That is not at all donation. You are keeping because you don't want to have clutter at all. That is not done. ಅದು ಯಾರಿಗೋ ಕೊಡು. ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ? ರಾಜಸಿಕದನ್. I will tell you what it is. ಯತ್ತು ಪ್ರತ್ಯುಪಕಾರಾರ್ಥಂ ಫಲಮುದ್ದಿಶ್ಯ ವಾ ಪುನಃ ದೀಯತೆ ಪರಿಕ್ಲಿಷ್ಟಂ ದೀಯತೆ ಚ ಪರಿಕ್ಲಿಷ್ಟಂ ತದ್ದಾನಂ ರಾಜಸಂಸ್ಮೃತಂ ಅದೇಶಕಾಲೇ ಯದ್ದಾನಂ ಅಪಾತ್ರೇಭ್ಯಶ್ಚ ದೀಯತೆ ಅಸತ್ಕೃತಂ ಅವಜ್ಞಾತಂ ತತ್ತಾಮಸಮುದಾಹೃತಂ. That is tamasic, what I said. Now, what is rajasic? Whatever is given with the view to receiving in return. Yattu prati upakarartham. I told you, no, I give something, you give something. That is rajasika dana. That is also dana only. It is considered as dana. He doesn't say it's not dana. It is dana, but it is rajasik. Prati upakarartham. Upakara means giving something. So prati upakara means getting from them. It with an given with a view of receiving in return and looking for the palamuddishya with a hidden agenda, and look, and again reluctantly. If it is given reluctantly, if it is given for expectation, with expectation, if it is given for something in return, or something good is going to happen if I do this, ಈ ತರ ಆಗಿತ್ತು gift, then it becomes a rajasic. Today I saw one more on the reels, and she is appreciating him. You are doing so much of dhan. You are helping poor people. You are taking food stuff. You are doing that. We are so happy. That man. Then I went through his channel and I saw his channel is full of such photographs and videos where he will go. He will put one shawl for a poor beggar, and then that is one reel. Another place, one dog is lying dead on the road. He will lift that dog and gets cremated. Illa correct. Why did you take photographs and put it on the portal, Instagram, idralli? Yakandre you should not. If you are doing it, this is rajasika dana. That means you are getting applause, recognition, views, viral agodu, full of that only. This channel has got some 100 such clippings which will say where all he went. That means he's doing it, getting it photographed, doing it, getting it videographed. That is done. Good job only he has done, but it is rajasic. It is a good job. It is not sattvic job. It is rajasic job. He's doing something. At least something he's doing. He's helping people, no doubt. Food stuffs, ella food. If somebody records and somebody comes and appreciate that, ಅದು ಬೇರೆ. ತಂದೆ ಚಾನಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಾನೇ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಾನೇ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಇದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. That I donated this much. I donated that. That we should not do. We may do. We also may do. I also may do unknowingly. We should not do. That becomes rajasic. If we want to do sattvic andre, in Kannada they say Kannada also other language. Whatever your right hand is giving, the left hand should not know. That is sattvic dhan. We should totally keep it underneath. Our name should not come. Actually, I remembered once we also donated in my mother's name, and of course we did not publicize. But at that moment, no, I told in one school, I told, can I put my mother's name here? Donated by. I was very much proud of my mother as a teacher and all. But putting the name means you are publicizing. We should not. We should list donors. ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಕ್ಲಿ, that we should not ask. ಅಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು actually we should not expect if it is sattvic. If we want sattvic dan to qualify as sattvic dan, nobody should know our donation. They should not tell anybody. We should tell them not to tell anybody that we have donated. Let it go underneath. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳೋದು ಬೇಡ. And same thing Karna used to do it. And Karna also was a Danashura Karna antane ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So Rajasika means when I give something, let them give back. And if I give this dana, I will get some promotion. I will get some recognition. My name will come in the newspaper. Publicity ಬರ್ತದೆ. So many people do that. No, many politicians do that. Donations ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ವಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ವಿ, and with hidden agenda ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಮೇಲೆ it will look like donation. Underneath they have their selfish agendas. That becomes a rajasic agenda. Okay, so we should not have this kind of dana is considered to be rajasika dana. And this is very prominent. Rajasika dana is most common. Whenever people give some funds and all that, it is very, very common. But at least some dana is happening. Ashtramattige we can be satisfied. Some donation, somebody will be benefited. Some they go and feed the orphanages. Let them take the photo. At least they are feeding rather than not doing. But this is the attitude which we have to see. Then what is tamasika dana? Adesha kale yaddanam apatrebhyashcha diyate. Adesha, they don't see the proper time, proper place, and non-deserving and asat kritam avadnyatam, and the gift that is given in the wrong place and time to unworthy person and without regard that is considered to be tamasic. Without regard means this dana is considered to be a very holy act. So there is no regard. Take it, just throwing. Not that is considered to be with disdain or with disregard, you can say. Like, as though they are doing a favor. Tamasika dana is they give, but they claim and they behave, their attitude, their body language is in such a way that, with lot of reluctance they give. Rajasic and tamasic both with reluctance, ಕೊಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕೊಡೋದು. ಇವ್ರು ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. he went to one place and he says olden days there were people, when you travel to Kashi, Rameshwar and all, they would never carry money, it seems, because on the way people, olden days about 100 years ago, people used to give food. They used to stay in their house, somebody's house, somebody will give food. ಪಾದಯಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they will just help them like anything. There is no need to carry money. That was a situation about 100 years ago in India. Then came one stage, he says, he went to America. Somebody used to pay the tickets because he was a sannyasi, Swami Ranganathanandaji. And somehow he landed, and the people who had to come to pick him up, there was a confusion in the dates. So they didn't come. He had to make a call from there, and that call costed him some money. So he went and approached somebody there and he said, can I borrow? Somebody will come and return. Can I borrow? He refused. He said, no, I cannot borrow. So he sat there and waited for the next day. Next day they came and then he went. Yet another place in Australia somewhere, similar thing happened. There also, I think there was some confusion. But when he asked somebody, He said, no. He said, I will return it. Then he just threw, take this 20 cents. You just take, ಹಿಂಗ್ ಒಗೆಯೋದು ಇಷ್ಟು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಬೆಗ್ಗರ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ. ಟೂ ಮಚ್ ಅನಾಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್. ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸರ್ವಿಂಗ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ ಅಂತ ಒಗೆಯೋದು, showing that arrogance. So that is something which is totally tamasic. I mean, they are giving some dana out of reluctance, under pressure. So all that becomes a tamasic dana. So we must give dana, which is necessary, but it should be given with the right attitude. When we give dana, no, it is an opportunity. Swami Vivekananda says, service. Two more I have, I think I have not. Shramadana. One more. Shramadana. Shramadana is service. Is also dana. Serving people, no? Shramadana. Shrama. You're putting some effort. Wherever there is necessity, you are extending your help. Social service. It could be physical or by words, compassion, whatever. Some people visit old age homes. They talk to those old people and they give some talks. They sing, they dance, they make them dance just out of their love for them or their service mindedness. So that also comes under this. But so that dana is very important because it will reduce our ego. And whatever we love when we give, we are learning to live without it. So we develop detachment. Dana gives, reduces the ego, and you develop detachment. You develop oneness with others. These are all the qualities that are very much, which take us very closer to God. Therefore, charity has been emphasized in all religions. And even the Upanishads say, Taittiriya Upanishad, even we had this chapter actually. It says very how to give, in that Taittiriya Upanishad, no? During the convocation, the Guru tells all the students, graduation ceremony, in that it goes like this. Acharyonte vasina manushasti satyam pada dharmam chara swadhyayan ma pramadaha. Like that it goes. Matru devo bhava, pitru devo bhava, acharya devo bhava. Talks about like that. In that dana comes. How to give dana? Shraddhaya deyam. Whatever you give in charity, give it with shraddha. Lot of faith. In what? In the act of giving. This dana, what I'm giving, is because I have God's grace. I have this. And if I give it to them, it will be of some help to them. May them flourish. ಇಷ್ಟು ಭಾವನೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ದಾನ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಕ್ಷಯ ತೃತೀಯನು, I went to my brother's place. My sister-in-law is highly ritualistic lady. So that is good. One way good, one way bad. Her faith it is. So what good point there is, they do sankalpa. Andre kayal neer tagondo, they offer, and they offer that whole act to God. There is some mantra and all that. She chanted that. It is offered to God. My brother came and he chanted mantras because she gave me some dana. Akshaya Tritiya. And whenever you give in Akshaya Tritiya dana, it will multiply. So it is not to be taken just as an act of giving. Your whole mind, your shraddha, everything yours. So he says, Shraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya adeyam. Without shraddha, don't give. If you have shraddha in the act of this dana, then you give. It should be considered as much as important as worship. Then Shriya deyam. Shriya means give it with a sense of plenty. With a sense of plenty means I have been endowed with plenty. Like that poor lady, she felt she had plenty to give. If we see her, she has very little food. She's a frail looking old lady with stitched clothes. Still she says she has plenty to give because her needs are less. Whenever we say plenty, that means our needs are minimized. That means everything is excess which we want to give. That is the attitude. Shriya deyam, bhiya deyam. Bhiya means sense. Give it with a sense of fear. Other explanation is don't give it arrogance. Fear means fear and humility. Next is Hri. Bhiya deyam, Hriya deyam. Bhiya, Hriya means you think that uh, it is not with arrogance, not that I have it, you don't have, adala. With lot of humility, we have to give. I have got an opportunity for somebody to receive. You are giving. Who is there? There is some recipient, no, who is deserving. That also is important. You must have somebody who deserves. Samvida deyam, give it knowledge, give it the knowledge that with why we are giving this, for what purpose we are giving this. So even Swamiji, this is Swamiji's commentary I'm reading, and Taittiriya Upanishads we studied in the school also. So give it with lot of humility, with the respect to the person who is receiving also. You must respect the person. See how beautiful it is. ಈ ಪುವರ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. In the year 1995, Ramakrishna Vivekananda Ashram in Dharwad. I am able to recollect that. Swami Nirbhayanand Saraswati, my Guruji, ಅವರು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಶಾರದಾ ದೇವಿ ಜಯಂತಿ ಅಂತ. He said, get a nice sari which you have with you. ಬಾಕಿದ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. Just get a nice sari. 101 maids he called. 101 maids. He made them sit, and we were devotees. No? We used to go to ashram. 101 ladies came. They brought one sari. Some of them brought new sari. Some brought a good sari. And he had told it should be wearable, decent, respectable. Andrashte ನೀವು ಬನ್ನಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಬರಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ. So he made one maid sit in front of me. I will worship her. He says, now Sharda Mata, that means Kali. We consider Sharda Mata, wife of Sri Ramakrishna, as a holy mother. She was invoked in that lady. He chanted mantras. I get goosebumps if I remember that situation, We 101 women who were interested, we all sat there, and she was there, that maid was there, sari with fruits, whatever we brought in a plate, and we worshipped her because she was recipient of our dana. She is responsible for the punya which I'm gaining, isn't it? So they say appreciate. With this knowledge we have to give. So you understand, giving a donation, giving charity is not it's not our what I should say, it's not greatness. I mean, it's not what I'm not able to get there. It's not that it's because of our richness or our position or whatever. No, it is our opportunity to evolve. It is a grace of God. If we are able to develop this kind of give dana first. If we are able to give dana, that means God has given us all the comfort, luxuries, so that we can donate. That means we are not we have the basic comforts. If we get this attitude, what we are saying, then we are doubly blessed, because not everybody has this kind of attitude. If we develop sattvic attitude, Shriya Dehi, Shraddhaya Deyam, Shriya Deyam, Bhiya Deyam, Priya Deyam, Samvida Deyam, with knowledge you are giving. So if we are able to do that, then we are doubly blessed. Buddha used to go, and how you see now how Buddha brought a change. He used to go. Both the bhikshus are always they go for alms, isn't it? He used to go to a lady, and she'll curse him. You are unfit. You don't want to work. Therefore, you're coming for alms. He will say, okay, we'll go to the next house. So his disciple asked him, when she is disrespecting you, why do you want to go there? Buddha is Buddha. So he will say, no, one day something will happen. Just wait. But at least she's giving her words. She's cursing. She's giving something. Let's accept. He keeps going. Few days she will curse. One day what she does is she will bring the ashes from her stove. Budi ashes. No, they would be using this stove with wood as a fuel. She'll bring and she'll put that ash. Next day, the again disciple says, this is too much. Let's stop. Then in front of her, he says, at least she's giving something. She has developed the habit of giving something. She's not just telling go. She's coming out, she's telling something, or she's giving. Hanga Martha with lot of patience he goes. Then after few days, she will actually come after a few days, when she hears this, the very next day, she will come with a lot of food and she says, "You have changed me. You have taught me that everybody should have the habit of giving. Everybody should have the habit of giving." So, with that, Buddha's disciple learns how we can bring change in others with some patience. We should have some patience. With that, that giving habit should start. Something we should give, keep giving. How Swami Vivekananda's Vivekananda used to give. I think, yeah, or his father. I'm not very sure. Any beggar comes, the parents will say, "No, you can go." From top, he will drop the clothes. He will drop something. So giving is inborn, that attitude. He will just drop the clothes and they will take and go away. So like that, that attitude of giving should be cultivated. That is about dana. And we will take one last shloka and then we can conclude. I'm going a little slow because we are coming to the end of Bhagavad Gita overall. Next session will conclude 17, then we move on to the last chapter. Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho Brahmanastrividha smritaha Brahmana tena vedascha Yajñascha vihitah puraha. So, why he says this is Tasmat Om Ityudahritya Yajñadanatapa Priyaha Pravartante Vidhanoktaha Satatam Brahmavadinam. Now he's telling something more interesting. Om Tat Sat. This has been declared to be triple designation of the Supreme Brahman. How is Brahman described? He is described as Om, he is described as Tat, he is described as Sat. So Om Tat Sat iti ella Vedagalali Puranagalali inge end agudu. So this has been declared to be attributes of Brahman. His Om, his Sat, his Tat. By that were made the Brahmanas. Brahmanas means knowledgeable people, the Vedas, the Yajnas. Therefore, Tasmat, Om, uttering Om, are acts of sacrifice, gift, and austerity as enjoined in the ordinances. That means when you perform these, sacrifice, gift, austerity, we always say Om. I told mantras were chanted when my sister-in-law gifted me. My brother came and he chanted those mantras with Om. So when you say Om, and always begun by the followers of Vedas. Therefore, uttering Om are the acts of sacrifice, gift, and austerity conducted, and always the Vedas are begun by chanting Om. So here he says, now he in these two statements, he has described the importance of Om, Tat Sat, and he says Om has to be chanted whenever you perform any of these austerities, any of his tapas, any of these yajnas. We said no, three types of tapas by Sattvic person, Rajasic and Tamasic also, but tapas of the body, tapas of the speech. Body means action, speech, and mind. So whenever you want to do something, whenever you want to speak, whenever keep chanting Om, that means it gets offered to the Lord. And any Vedas are always begun by the followers of the all acts are started by chanting Om, particularly by followers of Vedas. I would correct the meaning of this. Particularly those who adhere to the scriptures, what they do, they follow. They have all this Tatvik Shraddha. They read the scriptures. Therefore, when they perform, their act, the way they perform also is because they know the Vedas. They will say Om and then they would perform. And then that goes to the Lord. So remaining shlokas we will take the next time. So Om Tat Sat. Om is a very powerful syllable actually. Om. The Om is considered to be, it is used for all purposes. It is supreme symbol of reality, supreme symbol and supreme sound it is. Sound andre, the first scientific, NASA also has declared it actually. Om was the first sound of creation. How it created andre, when Pancha Mahabhutas, that means five primordial elements were created, first was space, Akasha. And then from Akasha came Vayu, air. When air flew in the space, it created this. It continues creation. Actually, before the five primordial elements, also, when the creation started, it started with Om. And that got further enhanced when Vayu, air. When the air moves, if you close your eyes, ears, and all that, you can hear, it seems, when you become very, very subtle, you can hear that sound within and outside. So they say that this O, uh, it is a reality which is, it symbolizes the supreme reality dealing with the world which is seen by the senses. Whatever we are seeing here, uh, that also signifies Om, and what is within also, what beyond the sensory level, there also that reality is also defined as Om. In other words, Om is, it is not an ordinary sound. Om should not be considered as an ordinary sound. It represents the supreme reality which pervades everything which is perceived by our eyes, ears, and all, which pervades everything that is felt within during our meditation also. What is seen outside, what is seen inside, both of this is that reality which is seen in Om. So Om represents that reality. Om represents that reality. When we meditate, therefore, you may not completely show that oneness with the God, but when we close your eyes and chant Om, the peace that you feel, it is very close to the reality. When you chant Om, withdraw your senses, you're going towards that supreme reality, and that because of chanting Om, you are reaching that supreme reality, because Om itself represents the reality. And the comment, Swami Ranganathanandaji says, therefore, people who are learned, who all know this Vedas, always they say Om Tat Sat Iti, Om Bhadram Karne Vishnumayama Devaha, ಹಿಂಗೆ ವೇದಗಳು ಬರ್ತವೆ, ಶಾಂತಿ ಮಂತ್ರ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತವೆ. Om Sahana Vavatu. ಹಿಂಗೆ Om is considered to be very, very auspicious. NASA also says Big Bang Theory ನಲ್ಲಿ there was one clipping long back. I had seen that the first sound was Om, they say. It definitely matches with what the Indians claim, and the NASA scientists have told. So Om is considered to be very, and Tat means that. Maybe that is derived from that word only. Tat. Idam, Tat. Idam means here, this one. Tat means that. That means which is not visible to an ordinary mind. Therefore, it is called Tat. That. It's not this. This is what we see, senses. That is which is has to be experienced. So it is called Tat. And Sat. Because Sat means truth, isn't it? Sat is always truth. So Om Tat Sat, it is the ultimate truth, and it is that, and it is Om. So beautifully, Om Tat Sat is the word which is used to these are three words which are used to describe the Brahman. Parabrahman is Om, Parabrahman is Tat, Parabrahman is Sat. And when we do all these with different shraddhas, particularly those who are Brahmavadinam, who know the Vedas, they chant this. They chant Om Tat Sat while performing the Vedas. Little more is there about the others that we shall take in the next session. So that is about today's session. What we do is 2 minutes we will chant Om and then take the questions. We will close our eyes. Let's take a deep breath. Deep inhalation. Deep exhalation. simple pranayama. So that's for today. Any questions or anything would you like to add? Was that good?